We'll be having more or less 1 hour together, and I'll try to make this. I would like for this to be as interactive as possible. I prepared some slides. We're gonna speak about validation and market testing. And my idea is to walk you through some contents, but also maybe I would like to take a few minutes now before going through the contents. If some of you wants to share what you're working on, and if you already started validating your business idea, I would like to learn from you what's the methodology that you're using. So I'll give you a few minutes. If you want, you can raise your hand so that you can take the floor. Just to set a bit the expectation and see if you guys already started working on validation. So I don't repeat concept that you might already know. Yeah, William.
Okay, so my project is focused on making farming easy for everyone. So in Ghana, where I'm from, Africa, obviously. So what we majorly a major occupation in Ghana is farming. So I want to make it easy for everyone who wants to invest in farming or start a farm in Africa or Ghana to have it. Like, we'll do the heavy lifting for you to come and invest. So we do farm management. We manage your farm for you. We give you access to the markets after you harvest your crops. We give you access to equipment for you to use in your farming. We can manage farms for beginner farmers, busy people, or even remote investors. If you are in Europe, if you are in USA and want to invest in a farm in Africa, we can do that management for you remotely.
Okay, and have you already tested this? Are you already in the market? Did you launch it? Which phase are you?
We are still at the research stage. We've not launched it yet. We are still doing our research and still getting stuff together. So it's basically somehow at the idea stage.
Okay. Did you run some interviews yet?
Yeah. So I spoke with some people I knew. Like, some people came to visit Ghana during the Dirty December. Like December, we have this thing called Dirty December where people visit Ghana a lot, and ask them if they'll be interested in investing in farms in Ghana. They're like, yeah, they will be interested in investing in farm if it was that easy to start a farm. So that's where we come in, to make it easy for you to start a farm. We do the heavy lifting for you to come in and invest.
Okay, it's clear. Thank you very much, William, for sharing. I think we have Powering Young Initiatives. Also raise the hand. The idea is really to get some key information of the project, and more importantly, what's the stage you're in, to understand if you already started validating or not.
Yes. So for me, I'm still on the ideation stage, though the project has participated in a number of accelerators. I've already started working on the validation has not yet started, so I'm looking forward to actually learn how I validate my project so that it becomes a viable project before we get other things like spending and investing in. Because I really need to know that is it a viable project that I'm beginning, or is something that is going to bring in some losses. So initially,
you're still yet to validate.
Yes, I'm to validate.
Perfect. Right. Thank you, Marcos. I'll try to be very quick as we don't have a lot of time, and I like to hear from as many people as possible. Marcos.
Hi. So we are TagMyLink. We have digital business cards for our clients. So we are always dedicated to the networking. And in terms of validation, we have been with the software, and we have been selling cards for almost a year now. So we validated the idea, it's working. Our customers like it, and they are happy with the software because we have been asking them right after using the software and so on. Now, one of our validation spending that we are going into the market is to go to events and offering membership for the events, for their attendees. And yesterday, actually, I was validating it with one restaurant that wants to give cards, membership cards for the clients, type of like these ones. And they were giving me quite some feedback about the idea and what they actually wanted. So it was slightly similar to what we had in mind, but we had to do some adjustments.
Okay, perfect. So you're already in a more mature stage.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Thank you. Emmanuel. Manu, I guess you have your...
Okay, sure. Thank you very much. I'm into fish farming, specifically catfish. And I've already entered into markets. I'm already doing my sales and everything. But my challenge is because of small scale mining, our river bodies are getting destroyed. So it is affecting the fish that we do in the water body. So I want to move to bioflux system. That system will actually help me and also reduce the cost. So this is how I also want to push my business to.
Okay, is there any validation you have done yet?
Yes, I've been into training and I've been into those who are already doing the bioflux system and it is working. So I've tried my hands with them for about 6 months ago. So which means the bioflux system is working.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Edmund.
Yeah, Edmund, and I am seeking to set up a digital marketing firm, a content marketing firm for African businesses, for SMEs. With respect to validating, right now I've been going to the market trying to see if I will actually find paying clients. Because I've worked in an institution where we're offering similar services, but we're not able to get people to subscribe to their packages. So I'm now on the market trying to see how many people I can get to purchase the service and how many I'll be able to retain. That's what I'm trying.
Okay, perfect. So you already launched something. Okay, Philip.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon. So mine is actually into consumer finance. Please, can I be heard? Can I be heard?
Yeah, sorry.
Can I be heard?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Mine is actually into consumer finance. We normally call it high purchase, right? So the business was established about 3-4 years ago. My idea has been tested. Who are into basically salaried workers and then corporate workers as well. So what I do is I market through social media and other marketing platforms. And then there's a platform I have designed for my customers where I do sell my products to them. So my concentration currently is basically for salaried workers and then corporate institutions. I have tested my idea over the period. It's up and running, but currently the issue I'm facing is basically funds to upscale it to the next level. So that is what my project is. Thank you.
I didn't really get the challenge that you're facing because the audio was not clear.
My challenge currently is funds to upscale my project to the next level. I have a huge customer base, very huge customer base, basically for salaried workers, talking about corporate institutions, security agencies, because I know with them, their salary comes month on month, which is very, very secured, but not for individual one-man businesses. No, I don't focus on them because the risks over there is quite very, very high. So my concentration
Okay,
is
Philip, sorry, I need to stop you here because otherwise we run out of time, and I also want to hear from the others. But I think it's clear your face. Thank you for sharing. Kelvin and then Godfred, and then I'll stop here. If other want to share their validation stage, you can also type in the chat, please.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm working on the local solution here in Ghana. It's focused on transportation. We call it Trotro. So I'm making information really available for people to know how much they spend on transportation, where to go, and I'm adding a payment money and other forms of payments. The challenge I'm having here is that I'm having over 20,000 people on the wait list, but the challenge here is that in Ghana, and the funds to get that accreditation is like, I think 200,000 Ghana cedis, and I don't have that. But what I'm going to do is that I'm looking at a very small audience.
Godfred, I think your connection is a bit unstable. I didn't really get it. I guess you had some customer in the waiting list, but now you have a challenge with fundings. That's all I got. If you want to type in the chat, maybe it's easier for all of us to understand your situation. I understand there might be some connection issue.
Yeah, I think I had internet issue. What I was saying was I'm working on a local solution. I think the internet.
I think now we can hear you.
Okay. So I'm working on a local solution where I have almost 20,000 people on the wait list to make payments on their transportation fare digitally and be able to have information certainty. But the issue I'm having here is that with payments here in Ghana, you need accreditation from the Bank of Ghana to be able to run a fintech business like that. And I don't have that. And you need a minimum amount of 200,000 Ghana cedis to be able to get that certificate. And that has been a challenge. But I'm looking at capture a very small audience and not make it a nationwide project and be able to onboard a few people to be able to meet that funds and be able to get licenses from the Bank of Ghana.
Yeah, I guess if you can find a way to, I mean, the certification part, I think is a high limit. But if you can find an alternative way to get over it, I guess it's gonna be easier. Otherwise, you need funding to get that certification.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Kelvin, and then we start.
Yeah, so we are working on a platform that's womai.com. It has to do with listing services of hotels on the platform, so they are available to travelers, tourists, businesses, and then hello, can you hear me clearly? Hello.
Yeah, we're hearing you.
Yes, and then
stage you're in?
We reached out to our main clients are the hotels, and then we reached out to them for them to be able to list their services on our platform to be available across the world. We went around marketing our product, and then we asked them a few questions like how do they list their services, what challenges they face when they list their services, and then provide it for their guests to make requests and all that. And then we've been able to get some good answers. We used it in updating our platform and then making sure that our platform meets their needs. And currently, I think we have our product ready, like our platform ready for the market. So the only challenge we face is, I think, getting the hotels onboarded, getting the hotels listed on our platform to be able to list their services for our customer segments. And then with that, I think they are being skeptical about listing their services because it looks like this platform is something new in the system. So I think that's the only problem we get. So it's difficult to get them to sign up for our platform. I don't know if you get where I'm coming from.
Okay, clear. Thank you, Calvin, for sharing. I think there's like different points that are very interesting from what you shared so far that we're gonna see together. Let me share my screen. I'm gonna walk you through some contents, but feel free to unmute yourself and jump in if you have a question, if you want me to go deeper in certain parts that are not that clear. I'll try to go quick because we don't have a lot of time, but again, feel free to make it interactive and stop me anytime you need. So the idea is that starting from your project, and then if you have any question related on your projects in particular, I want to give you an overview of what does it mean to validate your project. Of course, I understand all of you are in different sectors and also in different phases. So I'll try to give an overview starting from scratch, basically. So some information might be more useful than other, of course. Matilda, if you can mute yourself, that would be great. In the meantime, just sharing a bit the agenda. I'm gonna start from the basics. So some lean startup principle. I think you are familiar with the lean startup methodology, but just to refresh ideas. And then going through validation, and I want to give you some example of validation, both for problem and solution, so that you can maybe take inspiration from them and see if that's a good idea to validate your project based on also the stage of the project itself. And then I have some final tips at the end. Who am I? I basically, it's for the last 5 years, I've been working with startup founders like you, mainly in Europe. I work in ESADE, which is a business school in Barcelona, and we have a startup incubator and accelerator. But I'm also involved in Startup Africa Road Trip, which is an NGO from Italy, with whom I've been doing some bootcamps for entrepreneurs, mainly in East Africa, Uganda, Rwanda, Kenya, and I just came back from 2 months in Kenya, working with some entrepreneurs there. So really excited to see some people from Africa, maybe from the other side. I've heard a lot of you are from Ghana, but happy to connect. So I know a bit about your continent, but not from that side. Having this said, let's jump into it. So validation, we speak a lot about validation, but I think it's important to define, first of all, what is validation, no? Because I think there's also a lot of misconception about it. So of course, it's all the process that you put in place to basically get evidence and learnings about your business idea through experimentation and user testing. So it means that you don't just want to act because you feel like something is from your gut, you have some feeling, but because some users are telling you what to do and kind of guiding your decision. And why is this important? If you think about these statistics, that 80% of startups fail, you realize that one of the main reasons why they fail is because they build something that nobody wants. So one of the first reason why startup fail is the absence of a market need. So most of the time, a lot of founders just start because they feel like they start from the solution, they got an intuition, or they fell in love with an idea, and then they keep on building something without listening to the market. And that's what we don't want to do, basically. So a lot of startups end up doing products that are unuseful and that nobody asked for. So you at least don't want to be among them. And this happens because people don't validate. And usually this also relates to other minor problems or mistakes that founders usually do on the way. That is that they fell in love with their idea, no, they don't want to share it with others, and they defend it without accepting criticism. I guess that if you're in a program, at least you shared your idea and you're open to accept criticism. So you should be in the good part of the founders that want to actually validate their idea in the right way. You might already know the Lean Startup, as I just want to give you the overview, but is this methodology that actually was started in the corporate world and then brought in the startup approach. That is basically this methodology that help you decrease the failure risk and to test your hypothesis very fast, to basically avoid any waste and save resources. Also because in your situation, when you start, you don't have a lot of resources starting from time, so you want to optimize every action that you do with your startup in order and maximize the output you get. So if you think about the Lean Startup, I always like to say that entrepreneurs in this case should act like scientists, because there are some processes that you should put in places and validate like scientists. So if you think about before the Lean Startup and the classical, I would say the classic corporate approach is that they plan everything and wait a lot before launching. So it means that before launching to the market, you usually takes 1-2 years of only development without speaking with customers, only your team in a room without going out and speaking with anybody. You just build some plans, and then you maybe iterate on the plan, but based on your feelings, and not really going out. The new approach, that is the Lean Startup approach, is this approach where you want to build something, launch it to the market, measure it based on data, and learn from this launch. So this is an approach that startups should have during their the whole life. So it's not just something that is important at the very beginning, but also learn like from what you shared. Some of you is at the very beginning, but some of you already launched and get some first validation, but now is like keeping building on it. So it's it's not a linear process, but it's an iterative process where you want to implement and make your product always better. So as you see in this slide, as you can see, like you should go step by step, do little experiment, and then
Susanna.
Yeah, sorry, Antonio.
Can I interrupt you? Can I ask something?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's regarding about what you just said on the other slide. Like, for example, I shouldn't. I'm a teacher, so my courses, programs, services, whatever you want to call it, they are not like really finished yet. I was waiting for finishing them before launching and validating and blah blah blah. But as you just said, maybe that's not the right approach. Maybe I just should start and then keep going with the creation of the program, or I don't know if I'm explaining myself.
Yeah. So you are building some courses. You have the curriculum already.
Hola, buenas.
Yeah. Hola. Yes, I've got like the content, everything I want to put into the course, but yeah.
Do you know who your students are? Sorry, just to ask.
Yeah, I've got the target.
Okay. And did you validate with them somehow or not really?
No, not yet.
Okay, so I mean, of course, it depends case by case. Will you charge them to attend the course?
Sorry, what can you repeat?
Will you charge them? Will they pay for that?
Yeah. That's my first option. Yeah.
Okay. You have a clear idea of the pricing?
Yeah, I have, but I'm open because now with this program, everything is like kind of changing. So
Okay. Well, I think like one thing is to not to develop the curriculum, but one thing is like maybe you could start to launch maybe I mean it's between my examples, but what I'm imagining while you are talking is like maybe you can develop a landing page where you can or just a Google form. You don't even need to have a landing page where
I
you have.
already have a landing page. Mhm.
Okay, so like maybe you can take attendees from that landing page. What are you using that landing page for?
To get subscribers, and then they are receiving some emails, and then they can like book an informative coffee with me, so I can explain them better the service, the prices, and like everything.
Okay. Do you have like a pre-sale for the courses or not?
No.
Why not?
No. I don't know. I haven't thought about it actually.
Yeah, I mean maybe that's a way to validate it, because I mean now you already have a landing page, you already have some subscribers, and you're already, let's say, building the relation with them, and now it's like you want them to convert to become your students, no? So I think what I would do is like a section of the landing page could be like the courses that are starting soon, kind of upcoming courses, and you already give an idea of maybe the main points of the curriculum of the course, and then you build a button to like where they click and maybe tap buy now or like a pre-sale, so that you actually test their ability to pay for that, no? Because or more than ability, their willingness to pay for that. Because now you know them, you identified your target customer, I guess, but now is it like, are they really willing to pay that amount of money that I have in mind for my course? Are they ready to commit to a 6 months course, or do they just want to receive a monthly newsletter? So depending on the stage that you are, you will be testing different hypotheses, and maybe the stage where you are now, you need to test whether or not they are ready to buy something. So maybe just let me quickly go into this. So depending on the stage where you are, you will be needing to validate different elements. So I assume you already validated the problem and the solution, and maybe now you already have in mind that you want to do, I don't know, a 6-week course online, offline. So these are more kind of the features, no? But now it's also how much should I charge them? Is it like a monthly, like is it a one-off so that they pay the course all in advance at the beginning, or maybe is it like, I don't know, every month they want to be in the course, they pay some money, no? Or how much will they actually be willing to pay for that? I'm not sure.
Okay, yeah, I thought about some 3 months program, but now, as I said, it's kind of changing, so maybe it's gonna be like a monthly membership. So okay, so for validating, basically I just have to like attract the students, the customers, like putting something on the landing page, for example, like a pre-sale or like a small course, or
if you already have in place a landing page and you already kind of are building that relation with them through that channel, I guess that is it. Or if you said you have a newsletter, so maybe you can run a campaign on, we launched the course today, no? So after, I don't know today what your newsletter is about, but maybe you're providing general news. I don't know if this course is on a particular field, but maybe you are
Yeah, it's for teaching Spanish to foreigners, basically.
exactly. So maybe you are already, I don't know, in your newsletter you are giving tips for a teacher to to teach Spanish, and now it's really like maybe you can start doing a specific campaign through the newsletter to launch the course, and then like you can also get some experiment on that, on the pricing, on maybe you can promote it and you can limit it to 20 seats so that you can create that kind of urgency for them to convert, and so I feel like it's only limited to 20 people. I don't know, like you can test different value proposition as well. And but the real idea behind is really, because today maybe you are in a situation where you are thinking a lot about I want to refine the course and wait for it to be perfect, but
Yeah.
like, and I understand you, but the approach is really, maybe you spend 1 year thinking about how do I make my course perfect, and then you launch it and you understand that nobody wants it, because
Yeah,
maybe
that's not. Yeah,
yeah.
that's actually my concern. Like, I don't want to like really create the whole program, the whole course, and then nobody wants it. So I don't know how to proceed. Like, maybe just do one small course or one workshop or something like that. Is that like a good way to validate it? Just for example, 3 workshops or something like that.
I mean, with free workshop, you validate if they show up, but you are not validating their willingness to pay for it, no? So this
Okay.
part here, the business model and the pricing. So my suggestion could be, instead of doing, if not like a 6 months or 6 weeks course, because maybe people don't want to commit for that much time, you can also test through, I don't know, you organize a 2-day course, like a weekend. Also, I don't know, like if you spoke with them and understood when they have the time to study or to prepare themselves. Maybe they are busy the whole week, and the format, like a course in the weekend, is better than a course for 6 weeks that it's happening once a week in the afternoon, no? So that's also kind of here the feature, how you design the solution. And maybe now you're thinking about this 6-week course online, but maybe you can start by doing I don't know, an in-person event in Barcelona or wherever you're based, and maybe people can like, part of the value is also for you to really create that community of teacher, like Spanish teacher for foreigners in different cities, and that's maybe a part of the value proposition that you're creating. But it's really like, if you don't launch, you don't learn from that. And the idea is really like, you launch something, you learn from it, and maybe you understand, okay, now people are not available in the weekend. And then, I mean, don't be afraid to launch and test, because people will, they don't even realize what you're doing, because maybe in your mind it's like, okay, if I launch it, then I will lose my customer for the other course. Whereas, like, it's also like it's a way to actually create a relation with them.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, I'll try to skip a bit of things. I just wanted to give you like an overview on the methodology, but I would like to jump in some example that I think it would be a bit more useful. I mean, one of the concept I wanted for you to have it clear, that it's like validation. It's a process that you will have. So at the beginning, it will be about problems. Then you will start testing the solution. Then about the features. Then about the pricing. So it's something that, if you think about Amazon, they still do A/B testing to understand the usability of the platform. So it's not just something that you do at the beginning, but it applies and it stays for the, no, it's more an approach that you want to use throughout the life of your company. So during the exploration phase, where some of you might be, a way to kind of validate the problem or the existing of the solution is basically to start from exploring what is there, what didn't work. If you think about the companies that didn't work, like the Google Glasses, or you can start searching, do some search engine research. If you go like in YouTube or in Google, you can actually look at what are the most researched words, and like of course link to your company. And that could be like a way to understand if the problem that you are trying to tackle really makes sense for much people, or if it's just something that that you care for. And then like even in the very first exploration phase, of course, all the competitors and the existing solution are part of a way for you to kind of validate the existence of the problem. But here I'm like really starting from zero, like things that you might have done already or that you are working on now if you are starting from scratch. Having this said, once you kind of validate that problem can make sense not only for you but also for others, and that there is a market for that, you want to actually have that first approach with real people. Because first it's all about researching, but then what you really want to do is start to speak in with real people. Once you identify your target customer and you have an assumption that the target customer has a real problem, now you really have to confirm with evidence that exists. And how you do it, most of the time you start by doing customer interviews. So that concept of getting out of the building and actually get that in-person interaction with your customers. I want to spend some time here because I guess maybe some of you is doing interviews or will have to do interviews, and this is like a crucial step because entrepreneurship is not something that you develop in your room without speaking with anybody. Kind of, if there are some engineers here in the room, like of course like product requires a lot of working code, but I think the business side really require for you to have interaction with real people. So most of the time when I speak with entrepreneurs, they are in this mindset that maybe they want to do some surveys, which I don't really suggest you to do surveys, because you most of the time you have unreliable data, meaning that you don't know who is answering that survey. Maybe it can be good from a quantitative point of view because you can collect a lot of answers, but you don't know who is answering that. No, so you can have a section of demographics at the very beginning when you ask for gender, age, etc. But it's not like you don't really have. If it's anonymous, you don't know who is answering for that. So it could be good at the very first approach, but I wouldn't encourage you to do that. Like the real value is in running interviews with real people. So to speak with your people, with your target customers, and usually to people that you don't know, because people that will know you, if you try to validate it with I don't know, with your friends, they will be biased because they know you, and they might be like, they might feel bad to tell you something that will make you feel not happy with your project. So try to speak with people that you don't know and that you know that are your target customer, and try not to treat it as an interview, but it's like a normal human interaction. And if you can, it's always better to do it in person or at least in video, so that you can actually can check and can see their facial reactions. So it's if you cannot meet people in person, then in video it's okay. And today is super easy. You just schedule a Google Meet, you reach out to the people, you ask for 30 minutes of their time, and most of the time people are very happy to spend some time. And if you are asking to speak about their problem, people will also be happy to speak about their problem. So don't hesitate and don't be shy to ask for the interview with your target customers. Well, of course, try to plan it in advance rather than just stopping people in the street and ask them if they have some time for an interview. You reach out to them. I think, I mean, I'm saying some basic things, but I hope it's like are all that small details for you to kind of build the relation with also with the people that you're interviewing. And my biggest suggestion is that, I mean, you should run quite few interviews, depending if you're targeting B2B or B2C, but you will have to speak with different people, usually at least 30, 50 interviews to actually get some understanding and also some numbers that are interesting. And then you want to, once you do the interviews, you want to kind of draw some insights that goes from understanding if they have that pain, but also if they are maybe using some existing solution and they are already paying for something, so that you can actually understand their willingness to pay, but also how easy it is for you to reach them. So this is like some example of way to actually keep track of your interviews and of the people you're speaking to. Because if, like, most importantly, if it's B2B, at the end, these are the people that you interview at the beginning that you wish that they will convert into some paying customers later on the way. So it's important that you start keeping track of these people, like you do like a normal CRM from the very beginning. Of course, the first interviews are more as a test for you. So maybe don't go like as the first interview with the person that you think is like the most important for you to interview, because of course you also have to kind of exercise, not to practice a bit with interviews at the very beginning. I want to show you the structure of the interview. Of course, there are two very important rules. One is that you don't have to speak about your idea, and that you always want to ask about the past and not the future. As people will be very optimistic on the future, but at the end they will end up behaving like everything they did in the past is a good way to predict how they will keep on acting in the future. Like if somebody will ask you, how many times will you go to the gym? Like we are always too optimistic. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the gym 5 times a week, and then reality is I go there twice a week, and that's what I'm gonna do it for the future as well. Just to give you an idea on how our mind also works, no? Of course, you don't want to speak about your idea at the beginning, as you are validating your problem. And then I'll share with you these slides, but this is like a 5-question interview, just a very basic script that of course you have to adjust to your specific project, but that could be like a good starting point on the kind of question you want to ask when you're validating your problem, and how you can go like also in deep. So for any question, your goal is that the interviewer, the people you are interviewing can speak the most and can actually go deep, and you can actually have a full understanding of of the big picture. also alternative solution and what didn't work for the alternative solution, how did they solve the problem today, and in general have them speak about their problem. I will share with you the slides also on not bad question example. You don't want to ask yes or no questions, but the idea of all the interviews is for them to try to speak as much as possible so that you can actually capture the details that maybe you're not thinking about when you're running an interview, but maybe that's an insight that can be useful for you. Like coming back to the, for example, to the course for teacher. If you maybe run some interviews and about your product, the course that you have in mind, and now you have the structure of this 6 week, maybe while doing interviews and speaking with your customers, they might give you some insights on how badly that is to have a, I don't know, a course that happens every Wednesday night, and they would rather have it on the weekends, So if you do that kind of interviews, both on a problems level, but also later on the solution, and you let your customers speak, then they will come up with with details that maybe you don't have in mind, and your role in that case is to make them speak and then draw the insights that are interesting. All clear on the interviews? I know we don't have a lot of time. I want to go on to show you some other ways to validate and do some market testing. Another way, I don't know where your customers are, but for example, if you're selling B2B and your customer are mainly in LinkedIn, maybe you are targeting HR managers that every day are on LinkedIn, for example. A way to actually validate what you have is maybe if you already validated the let's say the problem part, and now you're trying to sell something, or even if you're still validating the problem, you can maybe use some automated message for HR managers that you will screen on LinkedIn and measure how responsive they are. Maybe you're trying to connect with them and kind of sell them something and see how they will respond. Maybe at the beginning it's not about selling them something, but if you are telling them, hey, we're working on this, I would love to have a coffee chat online to get your perspective on it. Maybe you're just asking for feedback, but then if you see that they are not even answering you, then that could be a feedback that you can get. If you are writing to 50 people and none of them is answering, maybe what you're proposing is not interesting for them. But if you are intercepting some kind of problem for them, then maybe it could be interesting and they will answer. So like this is also a way to kind of get response from real people. Now, stepping a bit on the MVP, Daniel, do we have some more minutes to go over this as we started a bit later?
You have a couple of minutes. So.
Okay, let me just go very quickly on this, and then I'll share the slides. Basically, from the moment you gathered the insights from the interviews, then you start building your solution. No, what we call the MVP, which is basically the first version of your product that have the aim to collect all that validated learning from your customer. An MVP is not something like what you see here, but of course, he has to provide some value. So if your customers want to go from point A to point B, they cannot do it with the first example, but of course they can still do it with the second part. And the idea is that you start very small, and then you go incrementing and making your product better. Now, for example, like if you're building a digital platform, there are some platform like Figma, for example, that make you actually design the way you would like the platform to be without having to actually develop code and work on the code part and have a developer that do that. You can just do it yourself with Figma, and not so that you can actually show something to your customer. You show the usability, and you can actually also develop with some actually with Figma itself. You can also develop a clickable prototype so that people can actually test and navigate through the app. Of course, that's the same for physical prototype. If you can start building your product little by little. Something that I wanted to show you is some other techniques. Sometimes you want to have like to test some features, and before maybe like go to fully develop it, you can actually substitute it with some Excel, for example, or you do a form instead of that can let you validate if that feature is important or not, without actually developing it with your developers later on. For example, like what we call like the imposter judo is like you are selling, like you are trying to validate a solution that you don't have now, and you can actually use a competitor website to show it, because maybe they know, or like an existing product that usually can be your competitor, but just to show. Maybe you do a presentation and you put some of the key features on how the platform would be, and you kind of steal that images from your competitors, just to help your customer visualize how it will be. Or for example, some example is also the concierge is kind of an example of MVP, where kind of it's like not these in-person services for customer, where actually they Sama, can you unmute yourself, please? Can you mute yourself, please? Where they don't know that there is a human that performed the task behind. So, for example, like an example of this has been like the early days of Zappos, where this entrepreneur like built a landing page to sell shoes, and he had to validate whether or not people would buy shoes online, like 20 years ago.
Sorry, Susana.
Not acting. Yeah, I'll just
Sorry.
finish the concept,
Okay.
and then I'll close it. He didn't actually buy all the warehouse with all the shoes and pay in advance. He just needed to kind of validate the concept that people would buy online, and the way he did it is just building a lean landing page where people could actually go and buy it, but he didn't really have the shoes in advance. And then when people would buy it, he would go buy it from a physical shop and deliver it in person. So that's just a way for you to think about how you can actually kind of fake until you make it. And that's the same, like if you try to sell something that maybe you don't have, you can just kind of have a button in your landing page like the course before, and maybe you have people waiting for it, or you just have them going to another page where they say, I'm sorry, we don't have the product now, or is it, I don't know, out of storage. But at least you actually validate if people are clicking on the buy now button or if they are not interested. So these are kind of different ways where you can actually test your product. I will share with you these slides because I think it can be interesting for you, and I'll leave you my contacts so that you can actually have that. I just add some more examples of A/B testing explainer videos where you can actually you explain your product or you do some kind of A/B testing. The very last concept I want to say is that like validation really means having some first paying customers. So it's true that you have to go through all the validation process with problem solution, but you can really say that you validated your project when you start having your first paying customers. I think I'll stop
Okay.
here. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Susana.